represented in our panel are various different professional areas, people who spend their day working in different professions. What I'd like to ask the panelists is that in what way is your particular work a part of the ministry of the church, either directly or indirectly? Dr. Stalvers, can I ask you first?
Sure. So, Chris, I really appreciated you saying how much attending Hellenic College was part of your understanding of vocation. I could say that a very similar thing for me about my time at Holy Cross. It really was the time when my call to a vocation was hatched. I was hearing something faintly in coming to Holy Cross, but it really was during my time in graduate school here that became clear. And that calling turned out to be towards clinical work, towards psychotherapeutic work. And I think it was by virtue of being at Holy Cross that I came to understand the possibility of doing something like that as a ministry, even if it wasn't a formal ministry. And one of the ways that I think about that now is that at its best, and in general, psychotherapy is using a therapeutic relationship as an agent of change to help persons become more whole in who they are, and by virtue of that, to be in healthier and more life-giving relationships. And certainly, I could reference dogmatics professors and liturgical theology professors who would find plenty of references to that kind of thinking in our faith and the relationality of the Holy Trinity. But just from a day-to-day standpoint, I feel like what I think about, what I do, what I try to teach is that truly therapeutic or healing relationships are the most necessary agent of change in order to help people become who they are. So from that standpoint, I would say that's true. Just a little more specifically, by virtue of my connection with classmates, professors, pastors, spiritual fathers and mothers, I have the great fortune and blessing of being invited in to occasionally do seminars, projects, and to connect with the Greek Orthodox Church, more specifically in America, which it's a wonderful way just to keep up with my friends and classmates, but I feel like it's also a way to offer something back by virtue of the training that I got after seminary. And it really is an attempt to give back something that I can't ever give back more than I receive, but it's my attempt to try to do that.
So your therapeutic relationships, which is, you have Orthodox clients, non-Orthodox students?
All of the above.
All of the above. So in one aspect, you're just the therapy and your relationships with others, and then more directly in seminars and teaching back to the church as a professional?
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Mrs. Vargas, how would you answer that question? In what way your work is part of the ministry of the church?
Well, my ministry is for the early child, the 3 to 6-year-old child, who's in their sensitive periods of so many formations, spiritual formations as well as mental and physical formation. So that we want to provide an environment where they can have a real liturgical, biblical faith experience, where they're fully participants in the way they experience faith at this age. And the beautiful thing about it, because what we know about sensitive periods is what you do in a sensitive period lasts for life, like your mother tongue. You learn that by the time you were 2.5, you were speaking a complete language. Go to Japan and tell me you can learn Japanese in 2.5 years. Okay, it's not going to happen. But we apply these principles. So when the early child has their own faith experience, it's life-lasting. So they're not going to leave the church as early adults. Or if they do, they'll come back because it's part of who they are. And they become very at home in the house of God. But I directly work with the adults, not with the children. So then that's another ministry because we work together on our own spiritual formation. And it's a ministry because it gives women who are drawn to preschool education a path. When women are called to serve the church, it's a strong calling. Well, it's a concrete path they can go on for a career. And it serves the church because it serves the families who have young children. So on it goes.
Thank you very much. So in early childhood, those formative years, and then also working with the adults, with the teachers. Lisa, can you tell us a little bit about your particular vocation as a ministry of the church?
Well, I guess I'd say my vocation is a little more obvious, as I've always been monastic life within the church. So, but I think that sometimes people don't realize in our society, we have a very pragmatic Protestant influenced society, that you must do something, you must produce in order to benefit others. Like, my parents often tell me, you should be a teacher or a doctor, somebody who can help others. But a monastic's call is mainly to pray for the world. And I think that in our culture, we forget that more importantly than producing results, prayer is more important. That living a life completely dedicated to God reminds those of you that are serving in the world and doing all these things and helping others that there is one thing needful. It's more important than producing results. So in a way, I like to think of myself as an apostle of eternity, because my very garb, my very presence always grabs something with other people. They say, well, why did you give up this? Why do you only wear black? Why do you put yourself through so much trouble to say prayers? And it's a way of reminding them that this is not the end. This world is not the end this is not it. There's more to it after we go on to the next life.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.